Terakhir, bahwa kita harus mempunyai kualitas dalam menyelesaikan masalah dengan cukup baik.
Pertamina claims there is no plan to eliminate premium and Pertalite. Transportation Ministry to lift ban on operating Boeing 737 MAX. Good evening, viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from the business, economic, and capital market sector. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we will provide you the latest COVID-19 information. And please stay safe. Some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. And with me, Fajar Wayong, this is Market Headlines. And let's open up market headline. The health minister reported that the COVID-19 vaccine budget would save around 13 trillion rupiah by the end of 2021. The reason is Indonesia gets a lot of vaccine donations from various parties.
Health Minister Budi Gunadi Sadikin reported to Finance Minister Sri Mulyani that the COVID-19 vaccine budget would save around 13 trillion rupiah by the end of this year. The reason is Indonesia gets a lot of vaccine donations from various parties.
Berita bagusnya buat Ibu Ani adalah sebagian besar kita dapat beli, tapi juga ada bagian yang cukup substansial kita dapatnya donasi. Tapi untuk vaksinasi kita dari 50 triliun, mungkin kita hanya akan spend 17 triliun karena kita dapat banyak sekali vaksin donasi gratis, baik dari COVAX maupun bilateral.
Pak Budi.
Jadi stok yang ada di kita sampai akhir Desember, ini berdatangan ya, tinggal tunggu izin-izin untuk dirilis, itu 416 juta Mas Asun. Kita per hari ini kan suntik 271 juta. Jadi kita punya sekitar 139 juta per akhir Desember.
Budi said the Minister of Finance initially budgeted 50 trillion rupiah for the procurement of the COVID-19 vaccine. However, he estimates that the funds that may be absorbed will be only around 30 trillion rupiah. But apparently, Indonesia managed to get a lot of vaccine donations. As a result, the funds used may only be 17 trillion rupiah. Furthermore, Budi praised the cooperation with the Minister of Finance, who continues to ensure the availability of a budget for the procurement of vaccines. Likewise, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, who continues to carry out diplomacy so that Indonesia can get access to vaccines from various sources in the world. IDX Channel report.
And regarding the widespread issue on Pertamina's plan to eliminate premium and Pertalite, Pertamina President Director Nike Widiawati ensures that currently Pertamina has no plan to eliminate premium and Pertalite from the market.
Pertamina President Director Nike Widiawati spoke about the plan to eliminate premium and Pertalite in 2022. She revealed that the plan would be carried out in stages with a number of considerations. Nika said the plan was in accordance with the provisions of the 2017 Minister of Environment and Forestry Regulation.
Ketentuan dari Ibu Menteri KLHK 2017 ini ada ketentuan untuk mengurangi karbon emisi, maka direkomendasikan agar BBM yang dijual itu adalah minimum RON 91. Tetapi tidak ada kebijakan hari ini yang untuk menghapuskan pertalite. Itu tidak ada. Pertalite ini masih ada di pasar, jadi silahkan. Tapi kami mendorong agar menggunakan yang lebih baik, yaitu pertamax, supaya kita bisa memberikan kontribusi terhadap penurunan karbon emisi di Indonesia.
For the record, premium is a Pertamina fuel product with 88 octane and 90 octane pertalite. The higher the octane, the lower the gas emissions. Nevertheless, Pertamina received a mandate from the President to carry out this provision by considering the aspect of affordability for the community and the availability of supplies. The next stage, Pertamina will not immediately delete pertalite. However, Pertamina will continue to educate to increase public awareness to use environmentally friendly and better fuel for engines. IDX Channel reports.
OJK ensures that the budget allocation for People's Business Credit or KUR in 2022 will be increased. The budget allocation is said to be higher than 2021 of 285 trillion rupiah.
Chairman of the OJK Board of Commissioners, Wimbo Santoso, said that his party would increase the People's Business Credit budget in 2022, exceeding this year's figure of 285 trillion rupiah. On the same occasion, Wimbo not only highlighted the financing needs of MSMEs, but also the financing of the green economy. According to Wimbo, financing for the green economy is unavoidable, and from his calculation, a fund of 754 trillion rupiah per year is needed until 2030.
Dan ini ada yang tanpa jaminan, ya. 2021 jumlahnya disediakan oleh pemerintah 285 triliun, dan insya Allah semua terdeliver. Maka bahkan 2022 ya, akan ditambah ya kuotanya dan bahkan dipermudah ya. Dan ini sedang kita diskusikan, tapi lebih besar dari 285 triliun lah di 2022 nanti. Jadi bukan hanya pembiayaan ya, tapi bagaimana membina ya, dan juga bagaimana mengolah ya, dan juga bagaimana menjual ya, dan dengan teknologi. Bahkan kita minta perbankan nanti aksesnya dengan digital.
Seeing the large scale of green economy funding, Wimbo admits that needs cannot only be financed by the state budget. He said that funding was needed from various other sources, for example, from the private sector and other non-governmental organizations, including from philanthropic institutions. He explained that one of the transitions that the government had to make was related to the transition from fossil fuels to new renewable energy. IDX Channel reports.
And we're moving on to a global update. The US and France have reported their highest daily rises in new COVID cases since the pandemic began. Meanwhile, India has approved 2 new vaccines amid fears of a third wave fueled by Omicron. More stories on today's International Minute.
The US and France have reported their highest daily rises in new COVID cases since the pandemic began, as the Omicron variant continues to spread. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease and Prevention, the country reported more than 440,000 new infections on Monday. However, officials say the numbers could be an overestimate due to reporting delays over Christmas. France, meanwhile, reported Europe's highest ever number of new daily cases. Tens of thousands of turkeys are being destroyed in Israel as it tries to contain a serious avian flu outbreak. More than 5,000 migratory cranes have already died at the Hula Nature Reserve, which Environment Minister Tamar Zandberg called the worst blow to wildlife in Israel's history. Local farmers were also being forced to cull 500,000 chickens, prompting fears of a possible egg shortage. So far, no transmission of the H5N1 virus to humans has been reported. India has approved 2 new vaccines, expanding its program amid fears of a third wave fueled by Omicron. The new vaccines, Serum Institute of India's Covovax and Biological East Corbavax, have both been authorized for restricted use in emergency situation. India has now approved 8 vaccines, 3 of which have been developed in India. The country has so far given more than 1.4 billion doses. The COVID pandemic triggered a 71% drop in international flights in and out of the UK in 2021, says a new report. About 4,600 international flights operated from the UK this year, compared with 1,399,000 in 2019 before travel was restricted. UK domestic flights also fell by nearly 60%, said aviation analytics firm Cirium. Budget airline Ryanair remained the largest carrier in the UK with more than 100,000 UK flights in 2021. IDX Channel reports.
Stay tuned on Market Headlines. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Pokoknya tahun baru Lia mau jalan-jalan. Ih, nanti kalau coronanya naik lagi gimana?
Gimana ya, Ma?
Mama punya ide, Pak.
Iyalah.
Walaupun akhir tahun belum bisa kemana-mana, selalu ada cara untuk meramaikan suasana. Mari lindungi diri dan keluarga, tetap waspada, COVID-19 masih ada.
Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif secara tegas akan memperketat bagi para wisatawan asing yang akan liburan ke Bali.
Ya, nantinya wisatawan asing harus melakukan swab PCR sebelum keberangkatan.
Para wisatawan-wisatawan yang sehat, para wisatawan yang sudah tervaksin.
Selama pandemi, banyak armada taksi dari Taksi di Thailand menganggur.
Berencana akan melepaskan saham holding BUMN Pertambangan Main ID di Bursa Efek Indonesia.
Ya, halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya, hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Minyak mentah berjangka Brent patokan internasional ditutup melonjak cukup signifikan di 2,1% menjadi 76,85 dolar Amerika per barrel. PT Adaro Mineral Indonesia Tbk atau ADMR, anak usahanya menetapkan harga penawaran umum perdana saham atau IPO. Bagaimana Anda melihat pergerakan indeks harga saham gabungan di sepanjang perdagangan hari ini?
Untuk saat ini sebenarnya posisi ISG sebenarnya sudah masih dalam tren yang sideways.
Thanks for watching Market Headlines. Following thorough investigation and repair of the aircraft system, the Transportation Ministry will lift the ban on the operation of Boeing 737-8 or 737 MAX aircraft in Indonesia.
The Transportation Ministry, through the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, will lift the ban on the operation of Boeing 737-8 or 737 MAX aircraft in Indonesia, following thorough investigation and repair of the aircraft system. Director General of Civil Aviation Novi Rianto stated that the ministry has coordinated with aviation authorities and operators around the world, especially in the ASEAN. Several countries have allowed to operate 737 MAX aircraft. Following this development, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation had prepared to lift the ban on the operations of 737 MAX aircraft. Rianto noted that the ministry had conducted a technical evaluation of the flight control designs changes and evaluated the pilot's workload for the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft at the Boeing Flight Services Simulator in Singapore. The Directorate General of Air Transportation is also coordinating with flight operators to prepare for the reoperation of the 3737 MAX, both from a regulatory and technical perspective. Rianto urged all airlines to fulfill the regulation and commit to complying with these safety provisions before the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft return to operate in Indonesia. IDX Channel reports.
Meantime, the Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry has said it is aiming to draw 1.8 to 3.6 million foreign tourists to Indonesia in 2022. Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy Sandiaga Uno stated that the target for local tourists is 260 to 280 million visits.
The Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry has said it is aiming to draw 1.8 to 1.6 million foreign tourists to Indonesia in 2022 by focusing on quality and sustainable tourism amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, the number of foreign tourists arriving in Indonesia reached 4.05 million, it said. The number dived to 1.5 million in 2021, it added. Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy Sandiaga Uno stated that the target for local tourists is 260 to 280 million visits, and the added value of the creative economy is targeted to reach 1,236 trillion rupiah. Deputy for Strategic Policy at the Ministry, Kurleni Ukar, said that the Ministry has agreed with the National Development Planning Agency or Bappenas on not setting a high target for the number of foreign tourist arrivals. However, she said she hoped that various international events scheduled in 2022 in Indonesia would increase foreign exchange earnings for the country. One potential destination for attracting foreign tourists to Indonesia is Bali, which get tourists from several countries such as Australia, India and Japan, she said. Meanwhile, Batam and Bintang are expected to be dominated by tourists from Malaysia and Singapore. IDX Channel reports.
President Joko Widodo said that he wants Indonesia to stop importing medical devices, medicines, and raw materials for medicines. He conveyed this sentiment at the groundbreaking of the Bali International Hospital in Denpasar, Bali Province. Jokowi urged staff to start producing medical devices, medicines, and raw materials for medicines with domestic industry players. Meanwhile, State-owned Enterprises Minister Erick Thohir said that to suppress imports of raw materials for medicines, Indopharma will focus on developing the herbal industry. Indonesia has natural and cultural endowments that can support the development of the herbal industry, the minister added.
Jangan sampai kita mengimpor lagi alat-alat kesehatan, obat-obatan, bahan baku obat. Kita harus berhenti untuk mengimpor barang-barang itu lagi dan kita lakukan, kita produksi sendiri di negara kita.
Import daripada bahan baku obat itu masih tinggi. Nah, salah satunya memang kita harus mengembangkan herbal industri untuk keobatan. Karena dengan herbal industri kita bisa menekan import daripada bahan baku itu sendiri yang hari ini masih 95% Bapak. Waktu itu 90%, ternyata dilihat Pak 95% sekarang. Nah, industri herbal sendiri kita punya kekuatan Pak. Memang kita mempunyai alam dan punya kultur mengenai industri herbal ini. Karena itu Indopharma kita akan fokus pengembangan industri herbal daripada keobatan.
The Indonesia Deposit Insurance Corporation or LPAS assessed the current deposit insurance interest rate to be one of the lowest in history. LPAS explained that the low and stable guarantee interest rate will make it easier for banks to manage their customers' funds.
The Deposit Insurance Corporation ensures that it continues to evaluate the deposit insurance interest rate in banks to maintain policy management and enhance the role of banks in the economy. Currently, the interest rate for guaranteeing deposits at commercial banks, both in rupiah and foreign currency at commercial banks, is 3.5% and 0.25%. The director of the LPS Research Group assures that LPS will evaluate the guarantee in interest rate every month. In addition, efforts to maintain a stable guarantee interest will assist banks in managing the required cost.
Jadi yang penting adalah yang stabil gitu tadi. Jadi agar istilahnya kalau kita ekonom tuh menu cost gitu. Kalau misalnya dia tidak berubah-ubah gitu, artinya perubahannya itu volatile gitu, maka perbankan ini menu cost-nya itu artinya biaya untuk mengubah menu produknya itu juga mungkin ada biaya yang ada di situ. Jadi memang selain itu juga namanya tadi disampaikan Mbak Pranata bahwa stabilitas tingkat bunga acuan ini akan membantu untuk mengurangi uncertainty ya, sehingga perencanaan baik dari sisi pengusaha maupun dari sisi banknya itu bisa dilakukan.
LPS ensures that each bank is obliged to inform customers regarding the maximum guaranteed interest rate and maximum deposit value guaranteed by LPS. Jakarta Rajo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be back. Stay tuned with us.
Android TV Box dengan konten luar biasa banyak dari Vision Plus TV.
Kado Natal terbaik adalah bisa melihat sesama bahagia dalam sukacita. Natal menandakan kasih itu ada dan nyata karena kita peduli akan sesama. Selamat Hari Natal dan Tahun Baru 2022. Kiranya kita bisa menjadi inspirasi untuk berbagi. Menurut kalian lebih penting apa dulu? Apakah modal dana dulu atau lebih ke apa?
Ada ide, kamu bikin draft, kamu lakuin. Sekecil apapun langkah yang kamu ambil, kamu harus maju.
Gimana? Dukungan orang tua seperti apa, Felicia dulu?
Dari kecil itu sebenarnya kita udah didukung banget sih. Kayak kita dibebasin lah, lu mau ngapain ya udah lakuin aja. Dan kebetulan sejak kecil pun kayaknya udah tahu gitu mau kita apa.
Minyak mentah berjangka Brent patokan internasional ditutup melonjak cukup signifikan di 2,1% menjadi 76,85 dolar Amerika per barrel. PT Adaro Mineral Indonesia Tbk atau ADMR, anak usahanya menetapkan harga penawaran umum perdana saham atau IPO. Bagaimana Anda melihat pergerakan indeks harga saham gabungan di sepanjang perdagangan hari ini?
Untuk saat ini sebenarnya posisi ISG sebenarnya sudah masih dalam tren yang sideways.
Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif secara tegas akan memperketat bagi para wisatawan asing yang akan liburan ke Bali.
Ya, nantinya wisatawan asing harus melakukan swab PCR sebelum keberangkatan.
Para wisatawan-wisatawan yang sehat, para wisatawan yang sudah tervaksin.
Selama pandemi, banyak armada taksi dari taksi di Thailand menganggur.
Berencana akan melepaskan saham holding BUMN pertambangan Main ID di Bursa Efek Indonesia. You're watching Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index Intraday Movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,603.75 and then approaching the closing time on the first session. The index was on the level of 6,590.62. And then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,600.67. And in short, JCI went up 0.04%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got cyclic sector as the leader of strengthening trend that went up 1.57%. Technology went up 1.21%. Energy, as the leader of weakening trend, went down 0.32%, and property went down 0.23%. And from the top gainers, let's see the list. Adaro went up 0.43%. Bukalapak went up 5.12%. FPNI went up 25%, and AYLS went up 24.84%. And from the top losers, BBCA went down 0.68% to the level of 7,300 rupiah. Bank Rakyat Indonesia went down 0.24% to the level of 4,080 rupiah per share. Agro went down 4.69% to the level of 1,830. Just went down 6.35% to the level of 236 rupiah per share. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,260 rupiah, showing strengthening trend towards US dollar, and it was closed at the level of 14,227. And in summary, rupiah went up 0.36%. Smartfren stated that it is open to merger with other telecommunication operators. The discourse on Smartfren's consolidation emerged after Indosat announced the merger with Three Indonesia.
Smartfren Telecom stated that it is open to merger with other telecommunication operators, including industry players from abroad. This is done as long as the other operators have the same vision and mission as Smartfren. President Director of Smartfren Telecom Mirza Faiz explained that consolidation in the telecommunications industry has been discussed a lot. Moreover, two big players in the telecommunications industry, namely Indosat and Hutchison 3 Indonesia, announced their merger. Meanwhile, Smartfren is rumored to be merging with XL Axiata. According to Mirza, seeing this, Smartfren does not rule out collaboration with XL Axiata only. Mirza explained that this collaboration opportunity could be done with industry players from abroad as well as local players other than XL Axiata. The discourse on Smartfren consolidation emerged after Indosat announced the merger with Hutchison 3 Indonesia. IDX Channel reports.
The management of Adaro Energy extended the buyback period until March 23, 2022. The extension was carried out because there was still a number of shares that could be brought back from the maximum target of implementing the share buyback. Based on the disclosure of information, the company decided to extend the implementation of the share buyback for the next 3 months. Adaro has extended the buyback period for the company shares for another 3 months, as the share buyback period has ended on December 26, 2021. Adaro Energy's corporate secretary Mahardika Putranto said that the company believes that the implementation of the share buyback will not have a negative impact on the company's performance and revenue because the company's current retained earnings and cash flow are sufficient to meet the needs of the share buyback. Supported by the trend of the food and beverage industry, Garuda Food is optimistic that its net profit in 2021 can grow double digits.
Supported by the trend of the food and beverage industry, which has improved since the third quarter of 2021, Garuda Food is optimistic that its net profit can grow at least double digit. As for the third quarter of 2021, Garuda Food managed to record a sales growth trend of 10.94% or 6.36 trillion rupiah compared to the same period in the previous year. This condition makes net profit also grow by 87.65% or 370 billion rupiah from last year's period. Based on the financial report, sales of the Garuda Food beverage segment contributed 846.1 billion rupiah and increased by 10.2%. Paulus Tejo Sutikno, director of Garuda Food, said that the domestic market still dominates sales at 95.6% because during the pandemic, the export areas targeted by the company experienced a lot of turmoil and dynamics. Meanwhile, sales in export markets, particularly in Asia, China, and ASEAN, recorded a slight decline of 0.3% due to this. IDX Channel reports.
And step aside from market condition as the efforts in achieving herd immunity is still going on. Here is an update data about COVID-19 vaccinations in Indonesia. And viewers, the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business and capital market channel. And even though the pandemic situation is getting better, the discipline of wearing masks must be maintained, even though we have been vaccinated. And moreover, ahead of the new year, we are appealed to limit activities to prevent a spike in COVID-19 cases. So stay alert and stay safe. And I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.